One of the ways you can tell a rug is handmade is by looking at the back. Now this is pretty uniform. You see the weft and the warp. I probably got those reversed. It's been a long time. But you can see that it's not perfectly symmetrical, and these lines are not super wide. In a machine-made rug, you got really thick cotton yarn going across, and it's all just exactly the same. But this, you can see the variance because it is handmade, and of course a person's not a machine.
So Arash was there because they would run out of the dye, or the strength of the dye would be lessened as they got through the loom, or is that why that would? Or?
So you're using a vegetable dye, right? That means that you have plants in water, and then you throw yarn in, and so it just depends on, you know, where it is. Things settle, things don't settle. It depends on where it is in the pot. They have these massive pots.
So color, okay.
That and the fact that maybe they run out of yarn one year, and so the next year, lilacs aren't blooming as much as they were, you know.
So they have to use indigo, yeah.
The seashells,
lavender,
abundant, or
yeah.
I mean, there are tons of different variations. Maybe there's a mineral in the water that creeps up because your water level is, or your water table is lower than it was. So there are a million variables that will keep dyes from being uniform unless you use chemical dyes like they did on this one. Alright, I think that's scrubbed enough. When they're weaving an Oriental rug, they do the knot and they pull the yarn through the knot. And they always pull the yarn through in the same direction. The direction that the yarn is pulled through is called going with the pile. Because the pile, which is the yarn that gets cut and it's on the face of the rug, it's all going to go in the same direction. And so when you're vacuuming it out, when you're brushing it out, or pushing the water out, you always want to go in the direction of the pile. When you're vacuuming a rug, you always want to go in the direction of a pile. I actually sweep my rugs off with a broom, direction of the pile. But there's only one time you go opposite the pile, and that's when you're rolling an Oriental rug to store it. In that case, going against the pile will actually give you a tighter roll on your rug. So you would let the sun bleach out any spots that are there. If you still had spots, then you would spot treat it. My dad actually did, the only time he used chemicals was when he was spot treating. And at that point he would just treat that one spot on the rug, unless the colors were running, in which case he did some mysterious thing that is probably going to die with him, so sorry. What you can do to spot treat is plain yogurt. Yes, you heard it. So you take plain yogurt and you rub it into the spot and you let it sit for several minutes, and then you go and you wipe it off. And if the spot is still there, then you retreat, let it sit a little bit longer, wipe it off, and when you're done doing that 2, possibly even 3 times, then you clean that one little spot. Which basically you take some water, a little bit of soap, clean it, rinse it, use a shop vac, and that's one way of treating many spots. It probably won't treat all spots, but it'll probably take care of a good number of them.